Thanks for tuning in. 6 weeks back I'd done about 500 kilometres on the bike, so I'll do a odometer check now. And I've clocked 3,475 kilometres. So 3,000 kilometres later, I've done an oil change, or I'm about to do an oil change on the bike. So I've had Silkolene 10W-50 in the bike now for 3,000 kilometres. The reason on that first oil change at 500 k's was to see how the Silkolene performed on the bike and see if I could get rid of the hopefully the false neutrals and see if the bike ran any smoother with the Silkolene oil in it. The Silkolene Venture was a fairly expensive one. Here in Australia it worked out for me to buy it $110 for the 4 litre container plus $30 for the deliveries. That worked out $140 plus $30 for the filler, so all up $170. Now, like I said, 6 weeks back I did that oil change and I've done 3,000 kilometres in it now. You know, I could honestly say that from my point, you know, I haven't noticed a great deal of difference. I'm down now on false neutrals, but the only reason I'm down to less false neutrals in change from 5th to 6th is because I did clutch adjustment at the main area on the side case and also from the hand grip itself, and they've slowed down. But you know, if you said now, is it worth your trouble to go out and buy it? Well, in my case I don't think it is, and I'm going to do an oil change now and run to a cheap oil now with a filter change too, from 3,500 what it's on now up until 6.5, and I'm going to run at 3,000 and just see if there's any difference in that line. Now for the oil I'm going to use this time, like if you look back over the years, I've had motorcycles for the last 7 years anyway. I've been fairly happy with a brand called Penrite here in Australia, and probably out of all the Enfield Classic 500s I've had, like 15 of them, I've always run a Penrite oil in those, and I've had good results with it. And it was only this swing to Silkolene just to see what it was like, and I'm going to go to a run with this Penrite, and I'll just give you an idea what one I'm going to use. So it's a Penrite motorcycle oil, and I'm just going to use their cheaper semi-synthetic one. So it'll be the motorcycle MC 4ST 10W-50, and it's got full zinc protection and a really good oil. It comes in at a bit over $50 here. So I'm going to run that for the next 3,000 kilometres. So you know, I know they recommend fully synthetic in these bikes, but I don't think this semi-synthetic will hurt this for, you know, it might only be in there for 6 weeks, so it's not going to be in there for the long haul. So it's just a little bit of a test to see how this $50 odd oil goes against that my $110 job there, see if there's any difference. So like I said, it'll be running with a new filter. We'll see how this goes. So that's the plan, and that's what's going to happen. Either way you look at it, I suppose there was no real need to dump the oil and filter it with a bike that's only done 3,500 k's, and that oil's only done 3,000. But from another point of view, it's a new motor, so a new run of oil and filter in it won't do it any harm. So I think this is a perfect way, or perfect opportunity to do an oil dump and go to a new run anyway. So I've always found that with these Enfield motors, it doesn't hurt to give it a few oil changes in those first few thousand kilometres. New filter on. Hard to say if you'll see this on camera, but very little to no filing on the sump plug after 3,000 kilometres or 3,500 k's. Not able to see it there. It's pretty clean, especially for an Enfield. Okay, I've cleaned that up now. It's nice and clean on the magnetic plug, and I'll just put that straight in. I haven't got to wash it to throw a new one on it, so we'll just try it as is. Now I use a 13mm socket to tighten up the sump plug, and the other thing I forgot to mention earlier on, always remove the key when I do an oil change, so there's no mistake about going over there and accidentally turn the bike on with no oil in it and blowing your motor. So we're just pouring what come out of the bike in this milk container, and I'll get an idea roughly the quick way what I can put straight back into it. No, so there's nothing in there at all. It's after 3,000 kilometres. It's clean. So all good there. So this is where I'm going to mark the level. So what I'll do is empty this container and fill my new oil up to that level. And the funny thing about this rain we're getting at the moment, I went for a ride in the bike this morning prior to doing this oil change, and believe it or not, I was about 30 k's from home when it started raining out there, and had to ride back in the rain, and that was only the second time in 7 years of owning or coming back into motorcycles, second time ever that I ever got the experience of riding in the rain. So it's been pretty rare lately. So in case you're watching now and you can hear it, that is the sound of heavy rain. So to sum up, the bike's full of oil. I'm ready to get out and ride it. I'm going to run it around about 500 kilometres, see how it performs with this Penrite semi-synthetic oil. Once the clock hits 4,000 k's, I'll do another video and tell you what I think actually, how it performed. I'm not going to worry about touching the clutch lever in from the handlebar. We're down on the case setting, so we'll just see how it performs there, and we'll see if the false neutrals persist in the 50 gear change at around that 50 to 60 mile/hour mark. It's usually only on the up changes, but never on the down changes. And we'll see overall how the bike runs with the oil in, and see if it gets rid of a bit of the clunkiness in the gear change and the sort of roughness in the gear change too. So we're going to, find out if going to this oil was a plus or a minus. And so if you want to call back at a later date and just see what's going on, see how it goes. Shouldn't take long to whip up 500 kilometres, and then if it performs all right, well, I'll run it right through to 6,500, so it'll be a 3,000 kilometre run with this oil. If it doesn't perform any good, well, I may dump it and put the Silkolene back in it, because I only put the container aside. The oil's still nice and clean, there was nothing in it, so I've got the reserve chance to go back in and use that oil again, because I just put it aside for storage just in case. But at this stage, we'll see what happens. And once again, thanks for tuning in, taking a look, and if you like, why not subscribe?